Hi everybody, how are you doing? In today's video, I'll be teaching you how to buy a house step by step like I promised in my last video. This video is long but informative, so please be patient and watch till the end so that you can fully understand the entire process. Without further ado, let's go. Step 1. You need to decide whether you're ready to buy a home. Buying a house is a major commitment. Before you begin shopping for properties or comparing mortgage options, you need to make sure you're ready to be a homeowner. Let's look at some of the factors that lenders and homeowners alike should consider. Income and employment status. Your lender won't just want to see how much money you make. They'll also want to see a work history, usually about 2 years, to make sure your income source is stable and reliable. Preparing your income is all about pulling the right documentation together to show steady employment. If you're on payroll, you'll likely just need to provide recent pay stubs and W-2s. On the other hand, you'll need to submit your tax returns and other documents that lenders request if you're self-employed. Even with the help of a mortgage, you still need liquid assets to fund the purchase of a home, specifically your down payment. So buying a home with no money down is possible, but most homeowners need to have some cash for a down payment. A down payment is the first major payment you make on your loan. The amount of money you'll need for a down payment depends on your loan type and how much money you borrow. You can buy a home with as little as 3% down, although there are benefits to putting down more. In my case, I put down 20%. Closing costs. So you also need to pay for closing costs before you move into your new home. Closing costs are fees that go to your lender and other third parties in exchange for creating your loan. My closing cost was almost 20K, so it was really expensive. The specific amount you pay in closing costs will depend on where you live and your loan type. It's a good idea to be prepared for 3% to 6% of your home's value as an estimate of your closing costs. In some situations, part of the closing costs can be rolled into your mortgage or paid by the seller using seller concession. Next, let's talk about your credit score. Your credit score plays a huge role in what loans and interest rate you qualify for. Your credit score tells lenders how risky you are to lend money to. Taking steps to improve your credit score and reduce your debt can pay off big as you prepare to get a mortgage. Better numbers mean better loan options with lower interest rate. Your credit score is based on the following information: your payment history, the amount of money you owe, the length of your credit history, types of credit you've used, your pursuit of new credit. So the question here is, what score will you need to qualify for a home loan? Most lenders require a credit score of at least 620 to qualify for the majority of loans. A score over 720 will generally get you the very best loan terms. Alright, so moving on to step 2. Step 2, you need to save for a down payment and closing costs. There are many ways to save for your home purchase, including through investments and savings accounts. If you have relatives who are willing to contribute money, you may be able to use gift money toward your down payment, in which case be sure to provide your lender with a gift letter. But how much do you need to save before buying a home? Let's look at some of the major expenses related to the purchase and how much you might want to save for them. Your down payment is a large one-time payment toward the purchase of a home. Many lenders require a down payment because it mitigates the loss they might suffer in the event that a borrower defaults on their mortgage. Many home buyers believe that they need a 20% down payment to buy a home. This isn't true. Plus, a down payment of that size isn't realistic for many first-time home buyers. Fortunately, there are many options for buyers who can't afford a 20% down payment. For example, you can get a conventional loan for as little as 3% down. FHA loans have a minimum down payment of 3.5%. VA loans and USDA loans even allow eligible and qualified borrowers to put 0% down. There are advantages, however, to making a larger down payment. For one, it typically means you have more mortgage options. It also usually means you have a smaller monthly payment and a lower interest rate. Plus, if you put at least 20% down on a conventional loan, you won't need to pay for private mortgage insurance, which stands for PMI. You also need to save money to cover closing costs, the fees you pay to get the loan. There are many variables that go into determining how much you pay for closing costs, but it's usually smart to prepare for 3 to 6% of the home value, like I just mentioned. This means that if you're buying a home worth $200K, you may pay $6K to $12K in closing costs. These specific closing costs would depend on your loan type, your lender, and where you live. Almost all homeowners will pay for things like appraisal fees and title insurance. If you take out a government-backed loan, you typically need to pay an insurance premium or funding fee upfront. Before you close on your loan, your lender will give you a document called a closing disclosure, which lists each of the closing costs you need to cover and how much you'll need to pay at closing. Look over your closing disclosure carefully before you close to know what to expect and to catch any errors. Next, step 3, get pre-approved for a mortgage. When you're ready to start house hunting, it's time to get pre-approved for a mortgage. When you apply, your lender will give you a pre-approval letter that states how much you approve for based on your credit, assets, and income. You can show your pre-approved letter to your real estate agent so that they can help you find homes within your budget. To get pre-approved, you need to apply with your lender. The pre-approval process typically involves answering some questions about your income, your assets, and the home you want to buy. It will also involve a credit check. Step 4, you need to find the right real estate agent. There are multiple parties involved when getting a mortgage and buying a house. Your real estate agent is your representative in the home purchase transaction. Your agent will look out for your best interest by finding homes that meet your criteria, get your showings, help you write offers, and negotiate. As a buyer, you can usually work with a real estate agent for free. In most cases, the seller will pay the buyer's real estate agent's commission. The commission is usually 3% of the purchase price. A real estate agent represents you and helps you understand how to buy a house. Your agent will show you properties, write an offer letter on your behalf, and assist in negotiations. Real estate agents are local market experts and can also advise you on how much to offer for each property. Moving on, step 5, begin house hunting. Your real estate agent will help you hunt for houses within your budget. It's a good idea to make a list of your top priorities, some of which might depend on whether you're looking for a starter home, meaning one you'll be in for a couple years or so, or forever home, one you can picture yourself in for a long time. Here are some things you might want to consider when shopping for a house: price, square footage, home condition and possible need for repairs, access to public transportation, number of bedrooms, backyard or swimming pool, local entertainment options, local school district ranking, property taxes. Rank your priorities from most to least important and show this list to your agent. Your agent will then show you homes that fit your criteria. You may need to spend some time searching for the perfect home, so don't get discouraged if your hunt takes longer than you expected. It took me 2 months to find my house in my case, so take your time, guys. Don't rush to buy a house that you will be regret for. Take your time. Only you can decide which property is right for you. Make sure you see plenty of homes before you decide which one you want to make an offer on. Like much of the home buying process, you can do a great deal with your house hunting online. Once you find a property you like that fits your needs and budget, it's time to make an offer, which leads to step 6, make an offer on a house. When you decide to make an offer on a home, you must submit an offer letter in writing. Your offer letter includes details about yourself like your name and current address, the price you're willing to pay for the home, and more. It will also include a deadline for the seller to respond to your offer. Most offers also include an earnest money deposit. An earnest money deposit is a small amount of money, typically 1 to 2% of the purchase price. Your earnest money deposit goes toward your down payment and closing costs if you buy the home. If you agree to the home sale and later cancel, you typically lose your deposit. Your agent will almost always write the offer letter on your behalf, but you can write it yourself if you choose. Your agent will then get in contact with the seller or the seller's agent to submit the offer. From here, the seller can respond in one of the three ways. One way is to accept the offer. If the seller accepts the offer, you can move on to the next step. The second way is that they reject your offer. If the seller rejects your offer, the ball is back in your court. You can choose to submit another offer or move on to another home. Or the last way, they might give you a counter offer. The seller can also come back with a counter offer of their own. They may change the purchase price or the terms of the sale. You can accept the counter offer, reject it, or make another counter offer. Negotiations may go on for some time after you submit your offer. Let your real estate agent help you manage negotiations. Don't be afraid to walk away if you can't reach an agreement. Once you and the seller agree to an offer, it's time to move on to the appraisal and inspection. So step 7, get a home inspection. Lenders usually don't require a home inspection to get a loan, but you should still get an inspection before you buy a property. During a home inspection, an inspector will go through the home and specifically look for problems. They will test electrical systems, make sure the roofing is safe, make sure appliances are working, and much more. After the inspection closes, the inspector will give you a list of problems they found in the home. When you receive your inspection results, go over each item line by line and look for major issues. If a home has a serious health hazard like lead paint or mold, ask the seller to correct the problem before you close. If you can't reach an agreement, you may want to move on and consider other options. Read over your inspection results with your agent and ask whether they notice any major red flags. Bear in mind that you'll be liable for any major repairs after your sale closes. A clogged toilet or a sink that won't drain aren't major issues. However, if your home inspection reveals an expensive problem like cracks in the foundation or poorly installed windows, you may want to reconsider the purchase. It's common for home buyers to include a home inspection contingency in their purchase offer. A contingency gives buyers the option to back out of a purchase without losing their earnest money deposit if the home inspection reveals major issues with the home. Step 8, get a home appraisal. A home appraisal is a review that gives the current value of the property you want to buy. You must get an appraisal before you buy a home with a mortgage loan. Lenders require appraisals because they can't lend out more money than a house is worth. If the appraisal value comes back lower than your offer, you might have trouble getting financing. Be thoughtful about your offer and consider contesting the results of the appraisal if you believe the appraisal value is too low. Home buyers should also include an appraisal contingency in their offer. Appraisal contingencies are often drawn up to allow buyers to back out of a purchase without losing their earnest money deposit if the home appraises for less than the offer amount. As with inspection contingencies, appraisal contingencies may vary, so make sure you understand the nature of your agreement. We're almost there, guys. Step 9, do a final walkthrough. You should do a final walkthrough in your new home before you close, even if you're 100% committed to the property. This time allows you to check and make sure that the seller has made the repairs you requested and clear out the property. Walk through the home and make sure the seller hasn't left any belongings. Check your repair areas if you requested them, and keep an eye out for pests. You may also want to double check your home system one final time to make sure everything is in working order. If everything looks good, it's time for you to confidently move toward closing. And here we go, guys. Lastly, step 10, close on your new home. Your lender is required to give you closing disclosure, which tells you what you need to pay at closing and summarizes your loan details 3 days before closing. Read through your closing disclosure and make sure the numbers don't vary too much from your loan estimate, which you would have received 3 days after your initial application. Once you reviewed your closing disclosure, it's time to attend your closing meeting. Bring your ID, a copy of your closing disclosure, and proof of funds for your closing costs. And that just means your check, your cashier's check or wire check. You'll sign a settlement statement which lists all costs, related to the home sale. This is when you pay your down payment and closing costs. You also sign the mortgage note, which states that you promise to repay the loan. Finally, you sign the mortgage or deed of trust to secure the mortgage note. After closing finishes, you're officially a homeowner. In conclusion, the steps to buying a house can make for a long overall process. First, you need to be ready to be a homeowner and set a budget. Next, you work with a lender to get pre-approved for a mortgage. Then, you start shopping for properties, ideally with a trusted agent at your side. Once you find a home, your agent will help you submit an offer and negotiate with the seller. When you reach an agreement, you'll get an appraisal and inspection. If the inspection turns out a major issue, you may want to negotiate repairs or credits with the seller. You also do one more walkthrough in the house before you buy it. If everything looks acceptable, you can finally move to close and enjoy your new status as a homeowner. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for more tips and guide on buying your very first house.